Okay, let's try this again. My video stopped, so I'm redoing it here. I have a 2009 Honda Accord EXL 4-door sedan for sale. It does have 293,000 miles on it. It's been a really good car. I've owned it about 5 years. I bought it from Chippewa Valley Mazda at the time. It had 220,000, I want to say, on it. What appealed to me is this car actually came from Missouri, I guess. I don't know if you can see it. It says Cape Girardeau Honda, which is southern Missouri, so I guess it didn't see a whole lot of salt. But these are basically all highway miles. I did replace the coilover struts as a kit about 3 years ago. I can't remember the brand. I want to say it's FCS. From the reviews I'd seen, it was okay, so I just went with it, and they've been good. But the brakes I replaced over the summer. I can't remember when exactly. I probably should have changed the rotors, but I took a gamble and just replaced the pads, and it is fine. It doesn't make any noise or anything. If you have to brake hard, you can kind of feel a little, I don't want to say pulsing, but you can almost like feel that it's not as smooth as it should be. But that's under like really hard braking. But daily driving, you won't notice it at all. But I didn't really do anything other than the brakes and that coilover strut. And as you can see, it's good shape body wise. Hopefully you can see that okay. It's the rear fender. So there's a little bit of rust in here, typical, but nothing too drastic. I'll probably do the interior on a separate video. The front here I replaced, this was in the spring, their Monroe coilover struts, the quick strut kit. It's not the Roadmatic one, it's the OE Spectrum, I believe, so it's a little better quality, but no problems with them. I didn't do anything with the ball joints or the bushings or the stabilizer links. Those all fared pretty well. I did replace the tie rod arms, the outer tie rod arms, and of course put it in, got it aligned. Sorry if I'm a little scattered. It's Black Friday and I have Thanksgiving to go to soon, so just trying to get this wrapped up before the snow flies. But the brakes, I got a Power Stop Evolution Series kit from Rock Auto. It has a Geomet coated rotor on both fronts, and I guess it's supposed to slow down the rust in the veins of the rotor and on the hat and everything. So far so good. It came with 2 sets of abutment clips, and I thought that was strange, but I threw the pads in and they ended up squealing when I was going in reverse and turning out of the driveway. It drove me nuts. So maybe a month ago I got tired of it and just put on Wagner Thermal Quiet, I believe that's what they're called, but from Advance, and no problems or anything. Replaced the clips, and I think that's what it was. It was just rubbing on the rotor a little bit when I was turning out of the driveway. But so again, as you can see, pretty good body wise. I've replaced the headlights with some Amazon ones. The originals were really hazed over and somewhat starting to crack a little bit, so really important. Really lame design, but Honda, in order to change the bulbs, you either have to remove the bumper or you have to go in from underneath here and remove the tire. With that being said, I put brand new bulbs in both sides, just to prevent someone from having to change them out right away. I didn't know how old some of the bulbs were that were in it. I replaced the one side headlight, the high beam at one point, otherwise I didn't really change anything else, so I thought that was a good idea. This vehicle has been really good to me. I primarily used it for work. I work construction, so I do put on a lot of miles. Let's see here. Someone did back into me in a parking lot a couple years ago. The bumper was dented, little mark here, and then the taillight was smashed out. Fortunately, I just heated up the bumper and popped it out with a rubber mallet. So it's not bad. It's not really chipping or anything. You can see a little bit of stress marks here and rubbing. But I did just buy a used taillight on eBay. There is a hitch on it. I never really pulled anything overly heavy. I just have a small 4x8 trailer that I throw lumber on, plywood, sheetrock, just whatever I need from Menards. I don't own a truck, so trailer wasn't used a whole lot, just whenever it was necessary, and not too much weight. One time I did pull a small fishing boat, but otherwise really not too much. For a 14-year-old car, it's in pretty good shape. There's a little rust speck here on the top. Previous owner must have had like a CB here. I opted not to remove it just because it's not leaking and I'd hate for it to start leaking, so I just left it. But overall, the body's in really good shape, rust wise, but of course it has, you know, some scratches and dings. There's a door ding here and like a golf ball size ding here. A lot of that stuff happened before I owned it. The front here is good. There's some rock chipping a little bit, so it has very minor surface rust in some spots. There's a little bit of a scratch here. Had a little bit of surface rust, but nothing too major. It's an EXL, so it has leather seats and sunroof that all works. Has a factory subwoofer and sound system, so it's pretty decent. I'll kind of go over the inside quickly. It's in decent shape overall, except this driver's seat. The heated seat quit working shortly after I had bought it. This tearing was pretty much here. It obviously has gotten worse, but I attempted to find a used one from a junkyard, but they wanted $360, and the seat already had a little bit of a tear starting, so I opted not to do that. So unfortunately, these little wires, there's probably a broken wire somewhere, so the heated seat part doesn't work, which is a total bummer. But I just couldn't I couldn't justify putting a bunch of time and money into trying to fix it. But I did put in new floor mats. The ones that were in it were pretty much done for, so they're kind of like the WeatherTech ones. They're a knockoff. So they do fit good. They're a deep dish, so it'll hold the salt and mud and water and stuff in there good, so you don't have to worry as much when it comes to getting salt in your carpet, which is never a good thing. Move the key quick. Steering wheel, the top leather portion wore off, so I just removed it. It is kind of weird at first, but I don't notice it anymore. Everything works in the car except the heated seat. The rear dome light, for some reason, never really seemed to work. I never really fiddled with it, because the front one works fine, but the auxiliary and this 12 volt power here works. I actually didn't even really realize this was here until I was cleaning, and as silly as it sounds, I don't know if it works, but this is just a compartment here. But I do have the replacement for this. This, I'm assuming, is original. It's tearing. I'm running out of time today, but that will be replaced. It looks pretty much the same, except there's a little bit of stitching down the center for the replacement, but overall, it's a good car. Reliable. I really don't want to sell it. I was planning on selling it for a couple of months now, because I bought my mother's car. It only had 92,000 miles on it, and it's a 07 Honda Civic, so realistically I'm obviously going to go with that one because it has a lot less miles. But we've been kind of hanging on to this because she got a new vehicle over the summer as well because a deer hit hers, so this essentially has been the rock with our transportation as far as knowing what we have and having a good reliable backup vehicle. So I will provide more detailed pictures, but I just wanted to make a video just showing things that I wish that somebody would do for me if I was looking at a vehicle to buy. And I'm sure snow is going to fly anytime, so whoever buys this, hopefully they're thankful for the explanation. But it's the K24A, I believe, A2 maybe. It's a 190 horse. It's a really good motor and transmission. I've had no issues, except it does burn some oil. I would say roughly a quart per 1,000 miles, which is actually still within Honda's spec. It does leak a little oil as well from, the only thing I could really find was a valve cover. I don't know if you can see that, but I did wipe it because I was in here, and I replaced the power steering pump because ever since I got it, the power steering pump worked fine and everything. It's just when it was in the winter and really cold, it would whine really loud and it drove me nuts. So I figured I was going to replace it this year anyway, so I thought I'd just do it before I sold it. So that's new fluid, all that flushed out. When I first got it, in the winter, the brakes were really stiff. Come to find out, there's moisture in the brake fluid, which happens over time. So I did a complete flush of the braking system fluid and replaced all that. So it's pretty clean. I know you can see the filter and it might look a little dark on camera, but it's really clean. But I don't know if it was related or not, but shortly after that, 2 of the 4 solenoids in the ABS pump were getting stuck on and off. I would clear the code with my scanner and it seemed to work fine, and then it would do it again. So I did replace the ABS pump module with a used one. I couldn't find any new ones. I don't know. I guess I didn't try the Honda dealership mainly because I knew it would be crazy expensive, but as far as an aftermarket, couldn't find anything. But I swapped that out. I bled the brakes. Everything is excellent. Had no problems. We did get snow in October, I think it was, that had just a couple inches. But I was able to test it out because I replaced that maybe 2 months ago. It started really acting up last winter, so I wanted to make sure it was done before this winter. This flex hose for the intake was cracking in here, which is pretty common, so I replaced that. It has a new air filter. I did clean the throttle body really nice. And that's pretty much all I've done with the motor other than oil changes. I did replace the spark plugs last year with Denso iridiums, so should be good for quite a while with that. And other than that, she runs really good. I'll turn it on. Sorry for the long video. Trying to be fast, but I'm also trying to be thorough. It will have a full tank of gas. I'm not actively driving it right now, but for the sale I'll have a full tank of gas. 40% oil life. I'll probably include some oil, just because it does leak a little bit, and I will take a picture of the driveway where it sits, just so you can get an idea. It's not overly terrible, but it's just something to be mindful of. If you're somebody who does not check oil regularly, this probably isn't a good vehicle for you. I recommend every other time you fill up, you should at least check the oil and potentially add if you need to. But it's just something that with this many miles, you definitely don't want to let go, actually, with any amount of miles. But either way, it's just something to be mindful of. So 292,218. One more thing, and very scattered, I apologize, but the AC quit working in August. I was monitoring it. It would work and then get warm and work and get warm off and on throughout summer. I did try a recharge kit, and I was monitoring the PSI in the line, and all of a sudden the PSI skyrocketed, which I don't do much. I'm not a mechanic. I don't do anything with air conditioning, especially, but from what I read, that happens when there's a clog in the system somewhere. So I don't know if that's an easy fix or not, but with the higher miles, I just didn't think it was necessary to send it to a shop and have them, it could be minor, it might be some kind of valve. I don't think it would be the compressor, but I just don't know. So that's, I guess, one other thing that doesn't work. But has a nice, decent sized trunk. It has the pass-through if you want to maybe put fishing poles in here or something. So you can fold that down through here. And again, I did replace the mats, so that's all nice and good to go. Everything's clean. I cleaned the leather, I cleaned the dash, all the buttons. I detailed it pretty well, I think. Here are the wheels. Sorry, I think this is the second or third video I've done. For some reason, my videos just all of a sudden quit recording, so I don't know if I got these yet or not, but For a 14-year-old car, they're in really good shape. There's a little bit of curb rash on this one, little chip here, but overall there's not really any pitting or anything like that. I don't have any issues with the wheels leaking at all. The wheels have maybe, or tires have maybe 10,000 miles on them. And I'll provide more pictures, but so tires are good. One really annoying thing with this car, and I guess it's common in a lot of cars nowadays, that the rear has, I want to say it's a little bit of camber. So the inside of the tires on the rear will wear faster than the outside. When I took it in for an alignment, which I've done 2 different times on this vehicle for tires, 2 different shops told me the same thing. That's just how these are designed. There's really no way to get around it. You're just going to have a little inner tire wear. I find it to be annoying because it causes cupping and you get a little bit of noise on the highway, but apparently it has something to do with having better handling characteristics. But with that being said, just something to be mindful of, especially rotating tires. These being relatively new, there's no sign of cupping or anything yet, but it is bound to happen over time. And it's not extreme, but it's enough to, at least with a meticulous person like myself, it bugs me. But obviously nothing I could do about it. They did recommend replacing the rear coilover struts because they thought that maybe it would help, and I did replace them. As far as it helping, I guess I couldn't really tell. It still ultimately had the same result. But so I don't know if you can hear it that good, but it's a decent sounding engine. It's healthy. I would not hesitate to take a long trip with it. I have taken long trips with it for work and everything. So, of course, whoever is interested in buying this, I would like it if they actually, looked it over and everything themselves. Because I'm obviously not a mechanic, but I am a very honest and open person when it comes to vehicles. I just wish everybody else was the same. But aside from that, this is the car. I'm going to shut the hood. Grab this flashlight and crawl under here just so you can get a little peek. Front passenger wheel well. Ball joints look good. That looks good. This undercarriage shield has always kind of hung down right here. It's kind of strange, but it doesn't rub or anything, so that is what it is. You can see evidence of oil leaking. I'm almost certain the majority of it comes from the valve cover. So if that's something you want to tackle, that would be where I would start. On this side, even though it has high miles, there is no signs whatsoever of any malfunction with the transmission, no slippage or hesitation. It's just as smooth when I got it as it is now. But yeah, so here is the underbody. The muffler system is in pretty good shape yet. I haven't had to do anything with it. So from what I can tell, it'll be good for a while. Not sure how long, but no leaks or anything. And I really don't want to sell this car, and that's my honest objection to all this. But because I bought my mother's car and that has 92,000 miles and it's a 07 Honda Civic, this one of course is going to go because it has 3 times as many miles. But the undercoating and stuff was done really well at the Honda factory, and it definitely shows in the body. So I can't say the same about that 07 Civic. That one is quite a bit more rusty, and that's a big reason why I'm hesitating even selling this. But if I don't, it'll just sit here, and that is not good for the motor. So I think I've rambled on enough. A half-hour video. That's quite extensive, and I do apologize, but I'm a pretty thorough and picky person, so I just wanted to make sure that you know what you're getting. So with that being said, I'll provide more detailed pictures of the wheels and the motor and the interior. I'm pretty sure I got everything. Again, I think maybe this is my 3rd video that I've tried. It hasn't quit on me, but I'm sorry if I did say already, but I did replace the headlights. And there's a little fogging here, but I think that's because I took it through the car wash. But if you ever open it up, you'll see that in addition to what they have for a sealant between the interior piece and the exterior shell, they had a sealant, but I felt it wasn't done that good, so I went ahead and put my own sealant around it. So if you ever take it apart, you will see some additional sealant, but that is because I know from prior experience, the first thing to go with aftermarket headlights is usually that seal, and then you get moisture inside, and that's not good. So for that little bit of fogging, it's done that before. I'm not worried about it, but I think it's realistically just the temperature changes. And after looking it up, it sounds like that's what it is. But anyway, so 2009 Honda Accord EXL 4-door sedan with 293,000 miles for sale. Thank you.